is the man I want you to marry. I said, oh, you've got to be joking. Look, he's kissing another girl, you know. And it was only many, many years later when I worked in the airline, I went traveling overseas, and Paul went with some very naughty friends of his, and he went overseas. We were supposed to meet up in Ibiza. I went to find him in London, and I couldn't find him, and I'd taken stuff over, which was for his friends, some cigarettes and some drinks, and I couldn't find them, so I gave it to a hobo who was sitting by the fountain, and he thought, yay, it was Christmas for him. And so I never really got to meet Paul and his friends, which was just as well, because when I got back, I realized what naughty boys they were. And I was an 18-year-old innocent young female who didn't know anything about drinking and partying and everything, and they did partying and drinking. Am I right?
A little bit of it. As Marie said, is that she worked at the South African Airways, and one of the girls who travelled with me, not with me, but with the team that we had overseas, we travelled to London, then we went up to Sweden, and then right down the middle of Europe, and found ourselves down on the island of Ibiza. She had come over for a couple of weeks and had joined us, and her name was Shirley. And when Shirley went home, she went back to work. She said to Marie that she had met the man that Marie was going to marry.
And that was Paul. Because she knew my personality quite well, and she got to know Paul, and she knew what Paul was like. And we both had a similar love for God that wasn't really that evident at the time, but it was there. And we were both kind of people that cared about other people, and we both had this kind of, I don't know.
But I still don't know. We still don't know why. And we all just say it's God's providence, really.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't really like him, and he didn't really like me very much.
When I arrived home, some of the friends who had come back home already gave me a welcoming party, and Marie, being a friend of Shirley's, came to this welcoming party.
But that wasn't when I first saw you. You came to see Shirley, and you didn't know, but I was in the bedroom. So I peeped in the door, and I saw this black shorts with a holy t-shirt and sideburns down to here, and a moustache that went like this, with hair that was down here, and I thought, not for me.
The one thing about Marie is that she always had a very good figure. She was always the better looking amongst all the girls around. But I think what I enjoyed about Marie was that she was always full of fun, and was always at the forefront of everything really that we did. You came to my work one day. Tell me about that.
I had to deliver a message to him, and I still wasn't interested in him, and he wasn't interested in me, and I saw him kissing some girl, and I thought, well, that's the end of that. My friends got the whole thing wrong. But I was standing there, and I got this clear message from God, I believe. It must have been. Unless Paul had some microphone geared up behind me, and it said, this is the man I want you to marry. I said, oh, you've got to be joking. Look, he's kissing another girl, you know. Anyway, second time I came to his work, a similar sort of thing happened, and same corner, I'm convinced, he had a little mic up there. God said to me again, this is the man I want you to marry. And then, I don't know, we were still sort of going out, and I came to his work a third time. And it was always at his work, that's why I'm convinced. But a third time, God said, this is the man I want you to marry. And I gave him. But then I had to convince him. It took me about 5 years. Paul could not commit. He had this thing like normal males, you know.
I was the type of person that wasn't really a commitment type of person, I think. And so shunned away from that, like many other people are. But there came a time, and really it was when Marie made the ultimatum to me, that I realised, hey, what am I going to lose?
So I said to him, well, I'm going flying. I went and got my wings. I was going to be an air hostess. And I said, right, that's it. I've got my wings. I'm going flying. Goodbye. He said, well, I think we should get married. That's his proposal. I think
so she gave me an ultimatum. But when we decided to get married, I want to get married quite quickly. And so we had about a 6-month engagement, I think it was.
And amazingly, it was my birthday coming up, so we thought, well, if we get married on my birthday, he wouldn't have to remember our anniversary.
No. So you actually got married on your birthday?
I got married on our birthday.
So I gave her the best present of everything. I gave her myself on her birthday.
I don't know if it was the best present, but no, it was.
I really do believe that it was God that brought us together, because in some ways we were so different, and we still are different. And when you get married, you don't always become like your partner in a sense. You have your own identity, and I think we've kept our identities in a sense.
We kind of chiseled a little bit.
We chiseled each other away over the years, but we've kept our own identity. So Marie has supported me a lot in the things that I've done. I haven't always done the things properly, but the one thing I have really embraced about Marie is the fact that she was very honest with me, and she would tell me when things were good, but would also tell me when I'd done things badly.
Like I do in the sermon.
Yeah, and so I don't know how long ago it was, but it was maybe 15 years ago. Through a series of events, I realized that I needed to spend more time with Marie. And she said to me that you're allowing the church to own you, and you're not spending enough time with me. And so if you're not going to spend time with me, then I'd rather not have you around. I must either sort myself out, or she's going to leave me. It's one thing to say that you're doing a lot of things in the house, and at the time maybe fetching the children from school and sweeping the floor and washing the dishes, all that type of thing. But I used to say that to me, well, I'm doing a lot of things in the house, you know, I'm doing all this and this and this and this. But she says, you're doing nothing for me. She says, in a sense, we're wasting our time. And that was a real sort of wake-up call for me. And what I decided to do over a period of time, I wrote a mission statement for myself. And included in that mission statement was that I would love my wife and my family and spend time with them. And so that was a help for me to always remember that. And so as the time has gone by, I've tried to make time for our relationship. And so what we do a lot is we go away a lot and spend time together. We love traveling together, and so for a weekend we would go away for a couple of days and spend time together. So God said to me at that time was that your family actually come before your church. God is first, and then your family is second, and then the church third. And I think that was a very good lesson for me in ministry, to remember that one needs to nurture one's family as well. Because when you're ministering to people, you can easily forget about your family. Because the family is your church actually as well. You've got a church family too. It's really living a lifestyle where Marie and I see being in ministry together. And she has been a great support for me. And wherever I go, she comes with me and will be my best supporter, but always is my best critic. She'll critique me when it is necessary, and I appreciate that from her. But she always does it in love and kindness. And so we wouldn't have been able to do the ministry without each other. In the work field as well is that we lost money and we made money. And so there was a time in our married life that we didn't have any money at all. And that was quite a hardship for us. But what we did in those times is that we were very involved in the church, in different aspects of the church. That was still while I was working. And we continued to serve the Lord and continued to commit our ways to Him. And He brought us through that time. It was a difficult time for us. But it also was a growing time, I think, for us.
Well, it was, because I think, when you've got a lot of money, you start thinking of material things. And when God said, I don't like the way you're going, I'm convinced that was what He said. And He brought us low, and we had no money, and we had to rely completely on God. And that was when we began to understand what life was all about. It wasn't about the friends and the money and the prosperity and all the rest of it. It was more about Him. And that was when we began to look at people and serving God rather than at ourselves and having fun. We've stuck together under some difficult circumstances at times. She's always supported me, and I've always known that she supported me and loved and cared for me. One morning I woke up and I went to put the side light on, and I couldn't feel my hand. I just knew that something was happening to me. I wasn't really sure, but I just
I was concerned. I knew that something was happening. Normally I wouldn't say anything about it. And so I walked around for a while and felt a little bit better.
He phoned me and said he wasn't feeling well, I should come home. We didn't know how bad he was. It was very scary because I wasn't here when he had it.
She came back and then she took me off once again to the A&E, same place. A little while I had all the tests necessary, and then they found out that I'd had a mild stroke.
For me it was extremely worrying, but the people at the hospital were amazing.
I must say, when I heard that had happened to me, I felt vulnerable. I really did. I thought to myself, here, I'm not that old. This might affect me for the rest of my life.
There's always that lingering doubt once all of this is done that maybe it'll happen again, and so we try and stay calm, and we try not to get ourselves too uptight about things.
I think what the after effects are that I realised the fact that I need to slow down a bit and to work a bit smarter. That's what I've tried to do, and taking my medicine like a good little boy, with my wife at times reminding me about it. But I'm feeling much better, and I think the longer I go without anything, the more confident I am.
But it is a worry and it is a stress at the back of our minds, but we're in God's hands and we know that He's there for us, and so we try not to focus on it. Try to focus on the fact that He's using us and dealing with it, you know, and we don't have to worry about it because He's in control.
I think one of the general advice that I would like to say is that don't think that you are going to change the person that you're going to marry.
In other words, if you think, okay, they're not perfect, but don't worry, I'll figure them out and change them when you're married, it never works, because that's when you wreck each other's personalities. Because, you know, I think that's what's kept us together over the years, is the fact that we are so different from each other. And certain things I could kill for, which going to the bathroom and the bathroom's a mess and mine's all neat and Paul's is untidy, but that's the way he is. You know, and those are silly things that you've got to get over when you mix two lives together. Although we both come from a similar family thing, it's still different. And there are still going to be things that you are going to come across that are going to be conflict things. And the best thing to do about it is to be honest and to talk about the things that irritate each other. The most important thing, I think, in a relationship is communication and trust. Because if either of those are not in a relationship, you're wasting your time. Because it's being able to confront each other in love and work things through is really an important thing. And then to trust each other that you're not trying to destroy one another.
I think what attracted you to that person that you're going to marry was their personality. And if you try and change that personality or destroy that personality, you will destroy the person that you fell in love with. And so we can encourage one another in the things that we do well. We can support each other in being truthful about the things that really worry us about the other person.
And that lovely cliche that people say that the thing that is most important is the difference in you that makes me love you.
If we're all like you, where would the world be?
That's true.
Please add that one.
My best friend, best man I've ever met, and I've loved him for how many years now? 40 odd years.
Here we are, still going. Just.
I know.